How's it going, YouTubers? We're going to do a video today about the courtroom and about things that have been kept secret for a long time. The playing field inside the courtroom is a little different than you think. You know, it's a ship inside the building, and it has that rail that runs across it that you enter into the ship. And what's going on there a little bit is you have different levels of the courtroom that's different playing fields. For example, the judge can't hear you because you're sitting there and you're dead. And when they want you to talk, they'll have you stand up and you'll be on the same level as the judge, and then he can hear you. But by that time, you've been manipulated by your lawyer and, well, both of your lawyers. But you didn't know you had two lawyers, huh? Well, the prosecutor is also your lawyer, and he can be fired. And you are on the same level as the prosecutor. And he's actually working for you. I know it sounds funny, but he's working to get you in prison. He's administrating you. He's probably doing a DBA, and he owns your name, or he is doing business in your name. And your name is at the top of the form, and his name is at the bottom, doing business as you. And then he writes out a bond in case he injures you. And you're not aware of these things. And the jury, why would you go to a jury? You have 6 jurors and 6 jurors on 2 different levels. And what's happening is the whole courtroom's on a couple different levels. And it's very hard to wrap your mind around these things, but that's what's going on. Now, why would you want to take your case in front of a jury and have 12 people decide that if you're guilty or not? They weren't there. They have no first-hand knowledge. And they have never been in trouble. They think the police are just the best people in the world, and that the system is the best system in the world, because they pretend all these things and you go for it. And they get lied to or manipulated by the prosecutor to believe what they want them to believe. And you know, you really can't explain. And everything that they do is okay, and you can object all day long and they'll still pull more tricks. And then when it comes for you to present any evidence that's under these, you know, these very strict guidelines and scrutiny and everybody's all working together, and who knows if they're winking back and forth or what they're doing. But the ultimate thing is, if you know you're guilty, why would you want a jury that doesn't have any idea, and they were never there, and they get tricked by the prosecutor and the judge, and your attorney doesn't give you a full, complete defense because he's the officer of the court. And in my other videos you could see that he doesn't work for you either. He actually, his duties to the courts, the public, and not to the client. And that's exactly what it means. And all this is a fictional game. And they've been playing this on you since before you were born, through your parents' marriage license. And then it just manifested from there. So the mechanics of the courtroom are kind of strange, and it is a vessel. And the judge, he slips in and out of different capacities. He's the clerk, he's the administrator, he's the judge, he's the fake executor, he's an executor appointed by the church. And all of these people are getting a percentage of this case when this case is monetized into their retirement funds, their trusts that are created for each person that works in the courthouse. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but I'm not scared of them. you know, and I just want people to understand So, the choices that they make, the attorney will start out, and he will start out that he's going to beat him, and you got this case, and all these things, and then he's going to be picking things apart to create controversy, because that's his job, is to create controversy. And they'll try all these technical things, and you'll think he's protecting you, and he'll get less and less confident as things go on. And he is probably the defendant also, because when they say, will the defendant rise, or all rise, they're saying the defendant rise. Well, your attorney stands up, when you're going to sentencing. They'll stand up. And it's really, it's an auction also. And if you notice how, if you've ever been involved in a criminal case, that they'll bargain back and forth. Well, they're doing an auction. And the proof of that auction is, when he's done with the auction and he does the sentence, he hits the gavel, and the gavel goes down and the auction's over. Well, there's other tactics you can use when the auction's over. I mean, if he sentenced you and the auction's over, you can speak up and say, I don't accept that. You can say, okay, he's giving you a year in prison. You can say, I'll accept a year probation. And he'll slam his hammer down. He'll do an illegal auction. You think about this. So there, and then you could win on appeal, whatever the case is. You could win on an appeal because you didn't accept the offer of the sentence. And there's a whole bunch more mechanics involved, and I'm sure I'll do another video about that. And this is video number 33, and I hope these things become clear to you, or you have an understanding that this does exist. The prosecutor's your attorney, then you have an attorney, and then the judge is who knows what position he's in. But they're all acting like they're representing you, or they're helping you, or they're fiduciaries in this plot, in this fiction. You have to understand, it's fiction. Yes, you're going to decide it's fraud, and you're going to find out all these things that aren't correct. Yes, it's fraud. But so know that it's fraud right off the bat. Okay? The mechanics of the courtroom is you walked in there of your own free will. You walked in there. So, think about these things before you get involved in some kind of injury. It's not their fault. You walked in there and you entered into this contract, and you accepted all the things that go on, all the presumptions and assumptions that I've noted in other videos. So I gotta go. I hope you understand a lot more than you did before we started this. If you have any questions,